Bleh. Let's try that again. Hello YouTubers, it's Brendan aka Cliffjumper here. Glad that you've tuned back in. So just circling back around on something that we had started before, and this may be part of the same video, it may be a different one, but we had gone about trying to repair the key fob for my Corrado VR6. Now many people know that the Corrado VR6, most of them did not come with a key fob wireless remote for the central locking. However, it was essentially the same system as the Mk3, which did have an available wireless key fob remote. So a lot of people would go get the banjo remote from the Mk3 and program it to their Corrado VR6, and away to the races you go. Well, my VR6 happens to have the proper alarm unit that works with that. And I did, rather than do the banjo remote, I went out and I got one of these universal guys here, which a while ago was sold as some no-name aftermarket universal remote, and I'll link in my description not only the part number but the instruction sheet for this whole process. I'll put the PDF file there for you to download and be able to use, so you don't have to go hunting for it. I collected all the information from various sources on the internet. Anyway, nowadays it is sold by Energizer, so I just pulled it out of the package here. So you can find it on Amazon or eBay, and it's about 25 bucks. So pretty good deal for a universal remote that programs nicely to your Mk3, or if you've got a Corrado that you have done the alarm control box swap from a Mk3, then you can have this working on your Corrado. I'm not sure if it works on the G60s or the early VR6s, but I really don't see any reason why it wouldn't, as long as you swap in the control box for the alarm system, because it all works. So anyway, I'll post up those instructions, but we're going to go ahead and just go step by step through programming this thing. Because this is aftermarket, what we have to do is we follow the aftermarket instructions to put this in programming mode first, and then we follow the factory programming modes. You do have to have two factory keys in order to do this, because one key has to be in the ignition and the other key has to be in your door lock assembly while you're doing this. So 2 keys required, and we'll be able to program this up in just a couple of minutes. So we're going to go do that now. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do here is we need to put this universal remote into activation mode. By the way, if you do buy this from the Energizer version of it, ironically, it comes with an Energizer battery, but it may not be a good battery because it's one of those open blister containers and stuff might have squished against it. So check the button and see if the blue light flashes. If the blue light does not flash, then you've got a dead battery. You're going to need to swap it out, and I believe it's a 2032 battery you can get, you know, anywhere fairly cheap. I recommend going online and ordering a package of them, because you can get a package online on Amazon much cheaper than you can get one of them at your local Home Depot or wherever. You can get them at Harbor Freight Tools though, so you know, use your discretion, whatever you're going to do there. Anyway, we have to put this in activation mode. So we're going to go ahead and put this in activation mode. We have to hold the panic button and the 1 button at the same time and release. And we're going to look for the LED to light up blue. So let's see if we can get that to happen. All right, we have the blue light lighting up, which is great. Now, what we have to do is enter the code for this Volkswagen. The Volkswagen is either code 534 or 541. And what that means is we hit the lock button 5 times, the unlock button 3 times, and then the trunk button 4 times. So let's hit that and see if that gets us what we need here. So lock, 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 unlock, 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 trunk, 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 trunk. And then we hold panic and the 1 button and release. And it did not work, so we're gonna try this again. Oh, I did it too fast. They have to be 1-second intervals. So we're gonna, oh wait, we got flashing happening. No, it didn't take. I didn't follow the instructions correctly. Let's try this again. You have to do 1 second intervals with this. Sorry, let's get this in activation mode. There we go, we got activation mode. It's lighting up blue. So we're gonna go lock, 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 unlock, 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 trunk, 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 and then and it should, yes, we've got the lighting up. It's gonna blink the code at me here. So it flashes 5, 3, and then 4 at me. And now we can do the OEM programming. So this is in the mode for the car. Now what we have to do is we put one of the factory keys in the ignition, turn the ignition on. We do not start the motor. And then with the second key, we're gonna unlock the driver's door and hold it unlock until the alarm beeps 3 times. Takes about 15 seconds. And then we let go of the unlock so the key goes back to the middle. And then we press the unlock button on each remote one at a time. We have to do both remotes. And then unlock the driver's door with the key again, and holding unlock until the alarm beeps 3 times, and then they're both programmed. So we're gonna do this. So, ignition is on. Unlock driver's door. Hold it until the alarm beeps 3 times. 1, 2, beep, beep, beep. There we go. Back to the middle, and we're going to press the unlock button. Beep. And on the other one, we will also press the unlock button. Beep, beep. There we go. And then we will unlock the driver's door, holding it until it beeps 3 times. Beep, beep, beep. All right, and if we were successful, let's see here. So this is our original one that I had done. Beep. Lock, unlock, yay. And the new programmed remote. Beep. Lock, unlock. We have great success. Okay, so one of those things that actually went remarkably smooth on the Corrado for once. Go figure. I don't know, how rare is that? One thing that did not go smooth, which was the last thing we did before we did this, was, well, it seemed like it went smooth, but in fact it did not. And that was the transmission job that we were doing. You see, we changed transmission fluid and filter, and we cleaned it all out. And the reason that we did this was I was getting some weird shifts happening, and I was getting an error code for a transmission temperature being, well, being overheated, but it really wasn't overheated. When I was looking at the values that we were seeing in VCDS, the temperature that was being reflected in the sensor was way higher than it really could have possibly been at an idle temperature just warming up. So I probably should have done a little bit of searching before I dove into this to find out that we would likely need to replace the internal wiring harness for the transmission while we were in there. It's a $25 harness, would have been a great thing to do while we were in there, but I did not, and so I'm gonna have to dive back into it, and I mean, it's just gonna cost me a little bit of time and the $25 plus the 3 liters of fluid that I'm gonna waste that we just ran through. I suppose it's possible that I could recover the fluid from this time around and put it back in there. Let's just call it a transmission cleaning, shall we? Yeah, we'll do that. And of course, this is one of those great while you're in there jobs. Again, my transmission does have 203,000 miles. 203,000 miles on a Volkswagen 4-speed automatic transmission from the 90s. Whose design was made in the 80s. So it's probably not long for this world, but you know, knock on carbon fiber. Maybe it'll hang around with me for a little while longer. If not, I do have that manual 6-speed. I'm not worried about it. I can swap that in. But just trying to be a man of my word, I am trying to keep this transmission going as long as possible. So while we're in there this time around, I am going to replace the valve body assembly as well that has all the solenoids in it, as well as those internal valves. So the solenoids, the internal wiring harness, some fresh fluid again. I can keep the filter that we just put in there because it's brand new, it'll be fine. And the gasket that's also brand new, it's brand new, it'll be fine. So we'll reuse those since it's had a grand total of about 50 miles put on it since I did that fluid swap. And then we will also replace the transmission speed sensor. Those are, again, about $19, $20. It's definitely, while you're in there, you may as well. And if I recall, I think there's one other sensor towards the back of the transmission that is worth replacing while we're in there. So we're just going to hit all these sensors, knock that out, not have to worry about it, and at that point, I think we should be really good to go. Doing a little bit of search on VW Vortex and some other forums, I have seen that the wiring harness seems to develop a problem, and that is where we get the bad temperature reading, and we also get some intermittent readings to the speed sensor, which is another problem that I was seeing a code for when I ran VCDS. So both of those indicate a bad wiring harness. We're going to go ahead and replace that harness. One thing too, before we get there, if you are going to do this harness, I've seen some videos where people are taking flathead screwdrivers and popping the harness off of the solenoids with that. That is a bad idea because it bends some things. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. If you're not going to replace that same wiring harness, go for it. Who cares? If you're not going to replace, if you're going to replace the solenoids in the valve body, go for it. Who cares? That's fine. But if you are going to be just replacing some solenoids or the valve body and you're going to keep the same wiring harness in there, I don't know why you would. It's 25 bucks for a new one. But if you're going to, there is a special tool that you can get to remove this wiring harness connector and have them slide off neatly without using a flathead screwdriver that breaks everything as you're doing it. That's not a great way to do it. I suppose if you have done this so many times and you're a transmission tech and you know the exact amount of torque to use to lever it in there and get it off, you know, you're an expert, you know what you're doing, that's fine. For the rest of us, it's a small tool. It's like $7 for the tool. Get the tool. If you cannot find the special tool, you can make one out of the top of a soda can, the little tab that comes off there. Little soda can, a pair of clippers, and you can make the special U-shaped tool to remove those little sensor wiring harness things. So We'll cover that in the next video because that's exactly what I'm going to do. In addition to having the actual tool, I want to just compare the two and we see which one works better. Probably the original tool, but you know, the ability to make a tool out of a soda can, this intrigues me. I like making things. So I will see you next time. We're going to put the Corrado away for the next few days. The next project we are going to get to actually will be back on the Jetta project, where we are getting into the window regulator on that Jetta that is completely mashed up and destroyed, and the door latch mechanism, which is also goofed up and I suspect is the cause of our battery drain issues there. So we're going to get into that. And as always, there are lots and lots of things that we can tend to, always projects to be done. So make sure to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you would be so kind as to share this video, if you've got some car enthusiast friends who might want to learn how to do some of this stuff themselves, that would be fantastic. I would love for you to share the channel. And if you would like to help support the channel, you can go on my Patreon page as well. I'll put a link here in the video as well as in the description. And one thing I'm just going to mention too, I've said this in the last couple of videos, if you would like a cool illustration of your favorite vehicle, or maybe multiple vehicles, maybe you want to do this, there is a great website called forgedrides.com, and they'll take a picture of your car, turn it into a really cool illustration. I like their art. They did the logo for my channel here. Very happy with that. And if you follow the link in the description down here, you'll get a 20% discount on anything you order from them. So you can get your car put on hats, shirts, mugs, art. Get it as a big piece of art. So anyway, good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope this has been informative, entertaining, if not, you know, just satisfying morbid curiosity. God bless. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.